Welcome back to another of our chats with Graham Phillips, the founder of ProLongevity. And we know that lockdown is ending. The question is, how can we all stay safe as we move into more community interactions? Join me over the next 10 minutes while we find out what physical and lifestyle changes will give us the best chance of beating the pandemic. Graham, welcome back. Just wanted to ask you, first of all, let's talk about the physical things, because you've got your own pharmacy down in Kent that you need to protect yourself and staff with. What's your sort of tactics?
Yeah, right at the start, we erected physical barriers, because if there's a physical barrier between you and members of the public and patients, the virus can't reach you. So we put physical barriers up in the pharmacies, just like you have in the banks, to protect our staff. The next thing is we're practicing social distancing. So we ask people to form an orderly queue outside 2 meters apart, and we put some chairs out for them, and we introduce them to the pharmacy. We call them into the pharmacy one by one. And because it's fairly large premises, we can get them in 4 different seating areas so they don't come into contact with each other or with staff. But we're on the subject of physical barriers. Masks are really important. And we learned this from Taiwan, where they generally out in public, they wear the mask anyway. Now, the way that the virus transmits is in 2 ways, really. There's the droplets and there's the aerosol. The droplets are less of a problem because they go not very long distance, up to about 1 meter and drop. But the aerosol can stay in the air for a long time. So if you cough, the aerosol gets tiny little mists into the air and it stays suspended. So if you cough at me inadvertently and I'm 6 meters away and then I walk towards you, I can potentially catch a dose. And it's quite easily to deal with the aerosol, just wear a physical barrier. So we encourage our patients and customers to wear masks in the pharmacy, and all of us in the pharmacy ourselves wear masks. And it means that one infected person can't infect somebody else.
Yeah, and it also stops people touching their face, gives them a sort of conscious reminder that they've got to be on defense.
Yeah, that's very true. So the wearing of glasses and the wearing of masks means that you're less likely to get an intimate contact between the virus in the aerosol and the mucosal lining. So, you know, it's a physical way to prevent the virus attacking you.
Are there things you can do with the way that the body itself defends itself from the virus?
Absolutely. So just like your skin is a physical barrier to infection, the mucosal linings of the nose and the mouth and the gut are likewise. So essentially the various mucosal linings are actually maintained by the microbiome, the bugs. And we hear a lot currently about the microbiome, the bugs in your gut. But we have those bugs in every body cavity. A healthy diet doesn't just feed you healthily, it feeds those bugs healthily. And those bugs respond by helping maintain your mucosa, which is a natural barrier. So that's like step 3, if you like.
And then what's the next step?
So the final step is to have the world's best immune system. Now, if you have the typical American or British diet, high in carbs, sugar, and processed foods, you're inflamed all the time, but also you're doing nothing for your immune system. And the best way to pep up your immune system, well, there are 2 aspects to it: a healthy diet, so eat real food. Avoid those foods that spike your sugar, because sugar spikes in the end will cause insulin spikes. The excess sugar in the bloodstream is ultimately processed in the liver and ends up in your fat. And then your fat then puts out a hormone called leptin, which makes you full. The leptin is also a cytokine. It's an inflammatory mediator. Now, what do we know about COVID? Probably it kills you by what we call a cytokine storm, which is when your immune system goes into complete overdrive and it overwhelms everything. Well, the last thing you want is an inflamed milieu, an inflamed situation in the body before all of this kicks off. So if you can control your diet and have a healthy diet and be less fat, you'll have less leptin, you'll be less inflamed, and you're less prone to the COVID. So that's the next in our sort of armamentarium, if you like.
We had a case study in the upper echelons of government in terms of how that change in diet can improve survival rates.
We absolutely did. So if you, all right, admittedly, Matt Hancock is 10 years or so younger than Boris, but Matt was already on a healthy low carb diet and he'd lost a couple of stone before COVID hit. And he pretty much shrugged it off and he was back at work, I think, within 10 days. Boris is from the traditional view that so long as you keep jogging, you can outrun a healthy bad diet. And he's the, the best example we've got that simply doesn't work. Now, I'm not anti-exercise. Exercise is a really healthy thing. I would encourage everyone to do the right amount of exercise, but it doesn't do very much your immune system. The other two ways to prep up your immune system is to eat a healthy diet and get lots of sleep. Interestingly enough, actually, 8 hours of sleep on its own has an immediate benefit to your immune system literally the next day.
There's been a lot of talk about supplements as well, and I know you're a pharmacist, so what sort of supplements do you think people should be taking?
So as a matter of principle with ProLongevity, our principle is eat real food, not eat loads of rubbish and then take a load of supplements to make it better. It doesn't work. But specifically for the COVID crisis, I am recommending 3 supplements to my clients. The first one is a high-dose vitamin C with K2, which helps with the immune system. And we know that this country in particular is chronically short of vitamin D. And if you look at both with seasonal flu and with COVID, where it's hit worse is where vitamin D levels are low. The next is a high dose of magnesium. And the third is a high dose of a long-acting vitamin C, all of which will help prop up your immune system. So those are definitely worth doing. And I'm taking a combination of those supplements myself.
Okay, and how quickly, if people go on to ProLongevity, do you think they can build better immunity?
Literally overnight. So a lot of my clients have ignored their bad sleep for years. You're a case in point, as we know. If you can really focus on sleep, you will literally improve the quality of your immune system by 25 to 50% within days. So the short answer is, we find the early results of the transformation that we bring with ProLongevity within a week. So literally within days, if not hours, but certainly within days and most certainly within weeks, you can make a huge difference and massively cut your risk.
Graham, that gives us a lot of inspiration and hope. So I'd like to thank you for that.
Pleasure.
So if you've got any concerns or fears about getting out of lockdown, just simply join the Facebook group with ProLongevity, and there'll be lots more help and guidance and webinars, the opportunity to have risk assessments one-to-one with Graham, just to understand your own particular circumstances. So from myself and Graham, we hope to see you again. Bye for now.
Bye now.